All right, let's look at some. This is what I put together for next up about the strengths and weaknesses of different candidates. Here they are, number one for Gavin Newsom, and I'm just curious what you guys think about this. Again, I've got known strength, secret strength, known weakness, secret weakness. Known strength for Newsom, momentum in 2025. Secret strength, he's got the best staff and advisors. Known weakness, image is slick and too political. Secret weakness, fire in the belly often runs cold, which is to say, I believe he'll be deterred from running potentially because his family doesn't have their heart in it. Anybody want to critique my list? Am I got that list right about known and unknown strengths and weaknesses?
I think Prop 50 is probably his biggest strength right now,
Yeah,
Mark. I mean,
that's
the
part
fact
of the
that
momentum. Yeah,
yeah,
for sure.
but the fact that he could actually point to something that he did recently and say, "Look, I took this energy. I didn't just blast Trump. I took it and I did something with it," is still going to be something I think that propels him forward.
Yeah,
I
I
also
think,
think his secret strength. I mean, while he's
yeah,
not a billionaire like JB Pritzker, he's raising a lot of money and he's also giving out a lot of money, and he's going to be investing in candidates all across the country in
yeah,
2026. And he won't talk about it.
yeah.
Yeah.
John,
And that
John.
list he has is insane. The
Yeah,
list
yeah,
he,
Oh yeah,
yeah.
very
yeah.
valuable.
I would say that his future rests, and I mean, I think we all think this is like possible to likely. Um, Democrats taking the House, and particularly if they take the House by not a particularly significant margin, and he can stand there and say, "I took the House back for the Democratic Party, me alone." Personally, I alone can fix, and I fixed. If Republicans should somehow maintain control of the House, then that issue isn't going to help him. I mean, in fact, it could be like, oh, yeah, gee, who cares? Like the Republicans still held the House. I,
I
I,
just
I think
I
secularly that's almost impossible, but what do
Yeah.
I know?
John Allen.
I disagree with John here in that one of the things all of these candidates want to try to do is show that they are fighters, and for the most part, they get to say that rhetorically. And in Gavin Newsom's case, he gets to show it, which I think gives him flexibility on ideology. Because there's a certain set of each of the ideologies within the Democratic Party that simply wants someone who will go out there and fight hard and be successful at it. So even if they don't take the House, I
Right.
also don't think Gavin Newsom will be the first person to take that victory lap. I think he will let other people say it for him, which
Right.
gets me to the next point is he's very good at framing things in ways that are advantageous to him. And I'll give you an example. Amie and I went out to do his podcast earlier this year, and then we interviewed him separately, but in the same room for our publications. And um, one of the things he said to us was the Democratic Party in 2028 doesn't need a white knight. It needs somebody with a policy vision. And of course, he is the white knight.
Yeah.
So he's taking that position without, basically saying that's not what we need, which is what he already has, and saying I'm going to compete for the other thing, which is what they, which is what they need. And I thought of it, instantly. It was so gracefully framed in a way that was so advantageous to him. I thought to myself, like, there are not a lot of candidates that do that so well, so smoothly. I think in the Democratic Party, maybe of like a Bill Clinton, in the Republican Party, I think Reagan was pretty good at framing things in advantageous ways and not feeling like that's what they were, would spend an hour trying to figure out.
Yeah, John, I think you're right. I think one thing to add, Mark, I think people have been told that they should think he's too slick, but once you meet him and once he gets out there, then you like him. And I think his secret strength is he's more likable than people want him to be. And once he starts glad handing, get out there and actually campaigning on the ground in 2026 for these candidates, I think he'll get a little bit more likability of a bump as well.
Yeah. Let's go around. Tell me if you imagine the negative frame that other Democrats will put on him in the nomination process. What's the most effective negative frame against him? And I'll just say, well, I won't prompt. Anyway, just be as specific as you can. What's the
Phony.
what's the line?
Phony.
Phony. Okay,
Phony.
phony for
That's
Keyword.
it.
John Podhoretz. John Allen.
I use this as a stand-in for other things, but the trans stuff. I mean, basically having had policies that are so far to the left that they are unelectable in a general election, and you will see the same ads run against him that you saw run against Kamala Harris.
So
Yeah.
you're saying even in the context of the nomination fight, the argument will be he's not electable in a general.
it has to be that he's unelectable because otherwise, yes, I think that is
Okay.
it. He's
All
done
right.
stuff that is like indelible.
Phony, unelectable. Amie?
I would say, I was going to say earlier, 2 words, French laundry, which falls
Yeah.
into the phony bucket. I mean,
Yeah.
he admitted to John and I when we interviewed him that, he brought it up proactively. I think he knows that that's a problem, and it's going to be an image problem that he's going to have to combat.
Cozy Earth right now will give you 40% off everything on the site if you go to cozyearth.com and use the promo code two-way, the bubble cuddle blanket. You would say, well, Mark, surely there's some fine print that says the bubble cuddle blanket's not 40% off. It is. Bubble cuddle blanket, towels, sheets, shirts, and of course all the pants, everything 40% off. Go to cozyearth.com, buy some stuff for yourself. Still time to buy stuff for the holidays. Cozyearth.com. Viscose made from bamboo is all very soft, comfortable, affordable with the 40% discount. Again, use my code two-way, cozyearth.com for 40% off. Give the gifts of comfort that lasts beyond the holiday, carries into a cozy new year. Everything's available now, and last I looked on the site, everything's in stock. So again, cozyearth.com, promo code two-way for 40% off everything on the site. Tell them if they ask you on the little pop-up that you heard about it here on Two-Way.
They say that something that's easy is like a walk in the park. Well, easier than a walk in the park, hit the subscribe button, be part of the Two-Way community, never miss an episode, be part of our conversations. Thank you for your service to America.
And don't forget, you can now listen to the morning meeting and Two-Way tonight on Apple, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcasts.